is Carol Dempsey, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about my son Ben. Um, he was born in April of 1986, and he was a normal kid, blonde hair, blue eye, played baseball, all the things that normal kids do. And he grew up and led a pretty normal life, did well in school, had a girlfriend, somebody he really fell in love with, and then he broke up with his girlfriend and decided that it was too much to take. So like any other 18-year-old, he got depressed and thought it was the end of the world. And I thought that was kind of normal, the way he was reacting. And I tried to talk to him and it seemed like everything was okay, but then things started changing. And I think from the time he was 19 until 20, it was a year span, things really started changing. He became really, really desolate and very to himself, didn't want to talk to anybody, dropped out of college, lost all his friends, wouldn't see any other girls, started getting in trouble with the police. And again, I thought this was just this devastation from this one girl, when in fact, it was because of his drug use. He had started using and became addicted to Oxycontin. His use was out of control, and he started getting suicidal thoughts. He actually had a suicide attempt, and we got him out of the hospital and tried to get him into treatment, and we thought again that we had thwarted the effort. But unfortunately, when he was 20, in July of 2006, he intentionally took an overdose of Oxycontin and killed himself. So the reason I'm here today is to try and talk about how serious this is and how quickly it can happen to a normal kid living a normal life. And it's just very easy to get enthralled in this and not realize what's happening until it's too late.
You mentioned some of this before, but did you notice that any signs that he might have been using?
Prior to when we actually knew for a fact he was using, the signs, I think, were very indicative of the signs of a young guy who had lost his girlfriend. So at first, I just thought it was because he lost his girlfriend, he was really distraught, he thought his world had come to an end, this was the first girl that he had fallen in love with, and these things he was doing, this isolation, the depression, the isolation mostly, I think, I attributed to the girlfriend, when in fact it was the beginning part of the Oxycontin use. As the use got stronger and more frequent in nature, and he became more addicted, the behavior became more and more withdrawn. He started hanging out with almost nobody, and the persons, except the persons that he was dealing with, like buying from or selling to. He involved himself with other people who were selling in order to get money to buy the drugs. So that, from that perspective, I think that it should be important that when you see these signs of depression, isolation, change in friends, dropping out of school, having no desire to do anything but sleep all day, these are really important things, and it could be very, very indicative of drug use, not just Oxycontin, but any drug for that matter. So you need to be aware of what your kids are doing, and if their depression lasts for an ungodly period of time, you need to do something about it.
What about the choice of friends that he made? Did you notice that the character of the friends that he was hanging out with was different than who he used to hang out with?
Absolutely. Prior to his drug use, he had, like I said, what I consider normal friends that played sports, friends that went to college, friends that did outdoor things. Ben really loved dogs, friends that had animals, and mostly friends that would come inside the house and talk to me, or would come inside and talk to his father. The people that he started hanging out with never came in the house. They either waited in the car or he met them somewhere else. And this was, again, I did start to think then, why don't your friends come in? And that's definitely a big thing. You need to know your kids' friends, because I think as adults we're better judges of character than they are, and they think they're fooling us when they don't bring them in. So that's like a big thing. but definitely his choice of friends changed dramatically. His friends were, again, not in school, didn't have jobs, and to me, that's when I really started getting suspicious, because where are they getting all this money to be hanging out all the time? But by that point, he was well into his drug use. On one of his unfortunate arrests for selling marijuana, he actually met a girl in drug court who unfortunately wound up getting into the Oxycontin use with him. The suicide of my son was not just a single suicide, it was a double suicide. Himself and this girl both overdosed on Oxycontin in a hotel room in Virginia and were found together, arm in arm, on the bed. 20-year-old kids, because of a drug that's so powerful, I don't think we have any idea.